I thought it was a bull performance. That symbolism is hope. Symbolism and revolution cannot be spoken the same words. Revolution is about action. It ain't about no mother secret puzzle, and you got to try to understand the hidden concepts and precepts that's being dropped. The revolution have never been about symbolism. Symbolism is a Masonic. The Masons kind of it, homie. Put it in symbols, homie. And let me just say this. Performing at the Super Bowl is like the slave being invited to the front of the mansion, to be in the front yard and get to perform in front of Massa and his family and friends while they sit on the porch. And y'all out in the front doing your slave dances and you get to perform in front of the house. That's what the Super Bowl performance was like. Okay. So to say, man, he did this, he had the symbols in it, homie, that don't do nothing for black people. Symbolism don't do nothing for black people. But the most disgraceful thing that I seen was Serena Williams up there crip walking. That was the most disgraceful thing that I saw during that performance. Her sister
didn't her sister get killed by a
by the Crips? Yeah. Yeah, to be married to a white man up there dancing on the stage to try to get back at your ex-boyfriend who got way more money than your white husband. And you up there crip walking doing a dance. Homie, man, we f***ed up as a race of people. And you got black people clapping, saying that's probably the best performance. Man, the best performance ever was Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson when he snatched that thing off and her came out. That's the best Super Bowl performance ever in human history. Nothing will ever be able to top that. Janet Jackson coming out and Justin, man, nothing will ever be able to top that Super Bowl performance.
Not even Michael Jackson?
Had never happened in the history of television. Came out. Even the FCC had to come with some new rules and regulations for performances. Never be able to top that. Kendrick Lamar performing probably was the worst. All he did was put his hands on his hips and wiggle, doing that little worm dance, and all them other, the red, white, and blue black people was crip walking and running in circles. I told y'all that's all they were gonna be doing, was twisting their feet on stage. And basically, this whole performance was about Drake. It wasn't about his songs and his lyrical content and lyrical talent.
Nah, bro. Anybody that watched that and felt like it was entirely about Drake, you clearly missed the message. And mind you, there's no symbolism. It's right there on the paper, but we're going to get into it.
It's all about Drake. So I give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, I was there.
Bullshit.
It was very underwhelming. They kept saying it was going to be a huge surprise. Everybody was trying to figure out what the surprise was. Was it Samuel L. Jackson? Was it Serena? Was it SZA? Like, everybody was trying to figure out what's this huge surprise.
Probably
a lot of
SZA,
white people that were
SZA and Serena.
Yeah, but a lot of, and this is why I feel like the NFL, they're about to stop doing the black performer things, because a lot of white fans that came to watch the game, they really didn't understand the performance aspect.
No.
Like, they had the street lights and all that running around, and a lot of white people didn't understand. And the NFL, yes, 97% black players, but most of the fans are white people that come to the game.
Yeah, because very few buy tickets and go to the game. Most sitting at the house watching on TV.
Yeah, very few. So I think they're about to go back to the next performer's definitely gonna be pop. Maybe like Post Malone,
Maroon 5, something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
Some shit like that.
Because they just didn't understand it. And Kendrick Lamar, he's talented, but I don't think a lot of white people at the game understood like the message and what everything was about. But it was very underwhelming. I agree with you. I know Drake the atmosphere would have been way different with Drake.
Yeah. Oh, homie, even a Lil Wayne performance. White people love a Lil Wayne. White for the second half of Lil Wayne's career was supported by white people at his concerts and shows.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Nah, homie. They made it too. I ain't gonna say they made it too black, but man, let me just say, nigga, that wasn't nothing about that revolutionary. And I hear people say, and they quoted this at the beginning of the performance, that the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be televised. That's why you can go back and see some historic footage of black people being water hosed. You can see some historic footage of black people having dogs sicked on them. So the revolution will be televised. When they made that statement that the revolution will not be televised, nobody foreseen cell phones.
True.
So cell phones allow the revolution to be televised. The revolution won't be funded. We'll be able to see the revolution on TV, but nigga, the revolution won't be funded, meaning the programs or the things that we need in our community, we won't have the funding. We'll be able to record and videotape it. So when I see black people clapping, homie, that's why Malcolm X made it clear that we are the only race of people, the only group of people who look to and for our entertainers to be our leaders or to get a message from our entertainers. They just can't go entertain. They have to try to put a message in for us. We're the only group to do that.
Do you think Kendrick Lamar is as deep as they make him seem?
Hell no.
Because his fans will always try to, you got to decode it
man.
and it's a message. And
Come on, man.
do you think Kendrick Lamar is as deep as
No.
I'm trying to think of like a Nas or even like a Tupac, or is he as deep as people try to perceive? Like,
nah, he's not. Homie, he a California rapper that kind of the gang, the gang bang, homie. The Pyru, he can't outlive that.
Charleston White, he's a very polarizing individual. Now, I don't agree with everything he says, but sometimes he does make points. He does. So I give him that. I'm not going to sit up here and just be like, I disagree with everything he says. But in terms of the Super Bowl, this is the issue that I'm having with people in terms of the performance that was going on. Why are people acting like there was something to decode? You had Samuel L. Jackson there pretty much narrating the entire performance, right? You saw that it was a game. What I got from it, with no symbolism, no decoding, what I got from it is that Kendrick is not going to play the game that they want him to play. That's it. That's it. I'm going to live my life how I want to do it. I'm going to express my art the way I want to do it. That's exactly what I got from the performance. Now, people throwing in all the extra stuff saying that, you having to decode his stuff or that he's deep. I never really looked at Kendrick as trying to be deep for somebody else. He's always been a very introspective person. On Mr. Morale, he had that record, I Am Not Your Savior. Future is not your savior. Your favorite entertainer, they're not going to save you. If you were looking to your entertainers to give you a message or bro, you already lost. These are people just like you and me. They're not perfect and they're human, right? So you can't look to entertainers. And if that's something that you do, you need to get a reality check because it's not realistic, right? But for people saying that, oh, it's too deep or they didn't understand it, I think that's crazy. I think that he did put on a good performance. I think that it resonated for who it need to resonate with, and that was fine. How many years of watching the Super Bowl have, let's say, black people resonated with most of the performance that was there? It just recently started to get to a point where there's more inclusion as far as R&B, hip hop artists and stuff like that. But back in the day, we had to sit and watch, bands that we weren't really known about. But it just seems like they're discussing catering to a certain audience at the Super Bowl. I think that's BS. You know what I mean? I think that every race, creed, color watches the Super Bowl, and just because there's an overwhelming majority that goes to the games, I don't think you can neglect of the other people that probably can afford to go. I don't think you should neglect them and neglect their interests and their taste. It's just my opinion. And again, to bring it back to, they're saying that the whole performance was about Drake and the whole Serena thing, and with, the Crips and her sister and stuff like that. Serena's a native of California, right? She's from Compton, and she's very cool with Kendrick. Now, her personal like motivation for going up there and doing that, that's on her, right? Would it be me? I probably wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? Just because I don't want to make it so Drake centered, and being that they had a relationship, it kind of makes it look like they was doing it for Drake, but I don't think it was because of that. I think just because it was the relationship that she has with Kendrick, a relationship that she's probably had for a while now. But everybody got their own interpretation on how they feel about that. At the end of the day, that was her decision to go up there and do that, and she did what she did. But y'all got to get off this train of thinking that Kendrick is some like deep conscious rapper. He's really not. He's a very human rapper. He talks about human things. He talks about having human vices. It's just that I think a lot of people just like to shut their brains off and just kind of go surface level with a lot of stuff. And I think that's where Drake shines at, because Drake, he's gonna drop an album with hits on it. He's not really gonna drop an album that's gonna make you do introspective thinking and stuff like that. Whereas a Kendrick, he might, but he's not doing it to get you to think introspective. He's doing it for himself. You feel me? And in return, that might make you look within, make you start to question stuff on why you do certain things. That's the mark of a great artist, and both can coexist. You can have a Drake, you can have a Kendrick Lamar, but I saw nothing wrong with Kendrick Lamar performing at the Super Bowl. And if they would have had Lil Wayne or whoever else, bro, it would have been fine as well. I just think people are looking for stuff to hate on nowadays, and it's so easy for everybody to have their own opinion because of the internet. But that's why I love it, because it's hip hop. It's neither right nor wrong. We just here to have a conversation. But yeah, man, it's the Kid Ríez. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all be safe, stay carefree, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.